One of the aims of this project is can we provide or present to the farmer an alternative way of farming where we can bring down his costs quite markedly while at the same time improve the animal performance, both in terms of live weight gain, the quality of the meat that's going into the supermarkets and the benefits of that to human health, but also most importantly do that at a much less cost to the farmer. So the increasing debt level that a lot of farmers have at the moment is going to come down. One of the reasons why we want to present the animal with a good species diverse pasture is each plant brings to the table, if you like, its own particular suite of nutrients. Grasses, by and large, have a consistent nutrient composition. That's the reason why we want to introduce the chicory, the plantain, these sort of herbs, a good composition of clover and other types of legumes within the suite, because they each bring their own particular nutrient composition. And chicory, obviously, is commonly known as it has a good content of zinc, for instance. And each plant, as I mentioned, has its own particular contribution of the key elements that we want, and that's one of the reasons why we want to have that good species diversity. In the visual soil assessment book, there are three dominant earthworms, European earthworms in New Zealand. The rubellus, which is the dung worm. If you go under a dung patch and dig up that patch, you'll find lots of the rubellus, which are very instrumental in helping to break down the dung. And on this particular property, we're now finding within 15-20 days, a cow pad has pretty well disappeared, which is a very, very good sign. Apart from the soil microbes that are instrumental in that decomposition, the rubellus earthworm is very much an active player in that as well. The caliginosa earthworm he's the workhorse in terms of nutrient supply and turnover to the plant. Very, very important earthworm to have. He's pink all over, so he's pink on the dorsal and ventral side. You turn him over and the colour doesn't change. Incredibly important earthworm, and that's a topsoil feeder. You'll pretty well only find them in the topsoil, 0 to 20 centimetres commonly. And another important earthworm is the longer, which I call the blackhead. And I have an example of the longer in my hand here, which is in quite good condition. He's your deep burrowing earthworm, and has major soil physical benefits because of the deep burrowing. It allows the air and water to penetrate at significant depth, but he also takes the dissolved and the decomposed plant material, the organic matter, down deep into the profile. And Ag Research some years ago did quite a bit of work on the longer, and they were able to demonstrate that if your longer populations were good, you had high numbers, it translated in terms of increased dry matter production by about 30%, which is very significant. So the longer is a very, very important earthworm as well. This is a particularly interesting earthworm, the Octalasian cyonium, which is commonly referred to as the yellowtail, for a reason that it has this distinctive yellowtail tip on the end. If your earthworm population is dominated by this particular earthworm, the yellowtail, then you know there's something probably seriously wrong with your soil. It could have a very low pH. There could be high levels of cadmium, arsenic, other sort of heavy metals within the soil. Whatever the reason, this guy is able to survive and exist in the soil where these beneficial European earthworms cannot, and they'll disappear. So if you've got a predominance of this particular earthworm, that's not a good sign. Soil smell is another useful indicator of soil health for a number of reasons. It is a good indication of the microbial biomass, but most importantly the activity of the microbes within the soil. And break the clod open and just smell the soil. What you're doing, you're picking up the aromatic gases and the gases given off by the soil microbes and all the soil life component. And we want to know whether our soils have a nice, earthy, rich, wholesome smell that you sort of commonly smell in a forest environment, or is it, and if it's so, we give it a score of 2, being good, or does it have a sort of a neutral smell, you can't really smell anything, and it's a moderate rating of a score of 1, or does it have a sort of a hydrogen sulfide, rotten egg, putrid smell, which you often get in a severe stock treading environment. And this has a moderately good soil smell, and you can pick up those aromatic gases that are given off. But like I say, you've got to do it quickly, otherwise those gases dissipate. And very, very diagnostic, and quite a powerful but a quick indicator of the condition of the soil from the biological point of view.
This book's a must for everybody. Every farmer should have one of these books and be taking it out and looking at his pasture, because that's where the production starts. I think we all should be always learning, and we don't, and there's such good information out there to learn about your soils, because by having our healthy, lively soils, we'll have healthy, lively pastures, and obviously spins off into our cattle. So it's very, very important to know your soils and know how you can improve on the soil qualities and the worms, and on it goes, the whole cycle.